What's up, people? So some really sad news coming out of Koh Samui last weekend. A British Muay Thai fighter, his name was Joe. He was only 30 years old, died after his first Muay Thai fight here on the island of Koh Samui. First off, I want to say condolences to Joe's family. A really tragic situation for everyone involved. So what actually happened? Well, details are still pretty murky. There's definitely a bit of a Chinese whispers situation going on. People saying this happened and people saying that happened. But what is known for certain is that Joe was TKO'd via body kicks in, I believe, round 3. So that means the guy he was fighting, a Thai fighter, hit him with consistent body shots, body kicks to his ribs, to his abdomen, to his stomach, and the referee stopped the fight. He was not unconscious in the ring. He left the ring of his own accord, and then it was only after the fight that he started to display symptoms of not being very well at all, and unfortunately he passed away in a local hospital. Now, it's unconfirmed that there was a bit of a skill mismatch. I've heard a lot of people say that there was a skill mismatch in this particular fight, and that the Thai fighter was an experienced fighter and it was Joe's first fight. The fact that the fight was stopped due to body shots does match up to it being a bit of a skill mismatch, I'd say, in my experience. If someone is hitting a lot of unblocked body kicks, normally it's because they're much more skillful than the other person. And yeah, it was definitely Joe's first fight. So it's really possible, but I wasn't there. So yeah, the skill mismatch is really possible, but look, I wasn't there. Even if there was a skill mismatch, a fighter dying is still a really rare occurrence. So it's very possible that there was underlying health issues. We can't say for certain, of course, because I believe there hasn't been an autopsy yet, and if there has, it hasn't been announced to the public, so we can only speculate at this moment in time. That being said, the possibility of a skill mismatch does shine a light on a really common problem in Thailand, and it's a problem that is not really spoken about. A lot of people talk about foreigners come to Thailand and beating up tuk-tuk drivers, and that is super common, and definitely more common than the reverse. Now, the reverse is where a beginner, a foreigner without much experience, gets matched up with a really strong Thai with a lot of experience, and the foreigner ends up getting seriously hurt. This is much more common in places like Phuket, which is the Wild West of Muay Thai, and definitely more common on the lower levels. The reason why it's more common in the lower levels is because these fights are much more relaxed, they're less serious, they're not really professional, even though you still get paid. If you fight at some of the bigger stadiums, you'll be matched up with someone who has a really similar record to you. You'll both check weight, meaning you'll both have to weigh in before the fight. So they'll really make an effort to make a fair fight. It's going to be on TV too, so it looks bad if someone is getting annihilated. At the lower level, at some of these smaller stadiums, including the stadium where this tragic incident happened, the matchmaking can be a bit bad. There are plenty of instances where foreigners are getting absolutely smashed by Thais with lots of experience. And of course, look, it happens the other way around. Foreigners are smashing Thais who are just so much smaller than them. It really can be dangerous. The one thing is though, a lot of these Thais know when to stop, in the sense that if they get smashed by a foreigner, they'll take a dive. You know, they'll live on to fight another day. Normally the guys who are diving, the tuk-tuk drivers, they won't be tuk-tuk drivers, but they'll be fighting in the stadiums regularly. So yeah, they'll take a few hits. You're like, you know what, fuck this, I'm not gonna win. I don't wanna hurt myself, I'm gonna take a dive. Unfortunately, foreigners will never take a dive if they're getting hurt. They'll keep on fighting until the referee stops the fight. Of course, this can be super, super dangerous because it's not a sport in the sense that football, you have a bad performance, okay, you face off against a team who are much better than you. It's a physical fight and you're putting your body on the line. So there's tons of stories of foreigners getting really, really badly hurt. I made an Instagram reel talking about bad mismatches, and people left some comments saying how for their first fight they fought people with 100 fights, 200 fights, 300 fights. And I'm getting stitches, getting KO'd in round 1 and round 2, etc, etc. So yeah, I mean, look guys, it's something to be really, really cautious of. Fighting in Thailand is not this mystical thing. It can be super, super dangerous. But of course, look, we can avoid this danger to some extent. It's really, really important that you don't just come to Thailand on a holiday and then just jump in the ring with not much training. Be cautious of gyms that will encourage you to jump in the ring with a small amount of training, because they might not have your best interest at heart. Look, it can go fine. Hundreds and hundreds of Muay Thai fights happen across Thailand every single day, and it's super, 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 super rare that anything seriously bad does happen to someone. But it's possible, and it's more often than not happening to the people with less experience. Make sure you've got a good relationship with your gym as well. If your gym is sending lots of fighters and you see in there having good competitive fights, that's a gym that you can trust. But look, at the end of the day, Muay Thai is a super, super dangerous sport, you know? It's not a game, and whenever someone steps into the ring, yeah, dying is a possibility, a very slim possibility, but a possibility nonetheless. That's why I fucking hate people who criticize fighters. A lot of people, especially on Twitter, you know, they love jumping on and criticizing fighters, technique, calling them shit, etc, etc. When they're too scared to get in the ring themselves and risk their lives themselves. So just bear that in mind next time you're calling a professional fighter shit, or not, like mocking their technique or mocking their body or whatever. They got the guts to step into the ring, you know, they're risking their lives for our entertainment. So just have a bit of respect with regards to that. But yeah, went on a little bit of a tangent there. Just, yeah, guys, take care. Stay safe, train hard, be in an environment where you trust your gym, and just do your best, you know? Life is really short. I hope that this incident doesn't put people off from fighting, because yeah, it's scary. One of my friends, he was just fighting recently, and he was considering pulling out the fight because of this incident. It's more dangerous to jump on a bike and ride your motorbike than it is to have a Muay Thai fight. Statistically, because hundreds of people died every day on the bikes in Thailand. So you can't live in fear, but just be careful. Be careful, be careful, be careful. Stay safe. And again, my condolences to Joe's family. We don't know exactly what happened in that situation, and I think it would be unfair to speculate without the full story coming out, and maybe it never will, you know, but it does shine a light on potentially bad matchmaking in Thailand. That might not have been the case at all, but I think it's an important topic to discuss even so. So guys, all right, see you in the next video, and just stay safe out there, okay? Thank you, bye bye.